The sky over Earth was not blue anymore. It burned with bright red streaks of fire, like the heavens themselves were falling apart. People across the world stopped whatever they were doing, work, travel, eating, sleeping, and looked up in silence. Something huge was happening above them, something no one had ever seen before. In every city, alarms began to scream. Sirens echoed across streets and buildings. Screens on every wall, and every device suddenly changed to one message: global emergency. Evacuate. This is not a drill. At the United Defense Command headquarters, buried deep beneath the Rockies, hundreds of officers rushed through bright-lit corridors. Boots slammed against metal floors. Radios crackled with voices full of fear and confusion. Every giant screen showed the same terrifying sight: thousands of unknown ships entering Earth's orbit. Admiral Marcus Hale stood in the center of the command room. He was known as a calm and strong leader, someone who never bent under pressure. But now, even his hand shook slightly as he stared at the live space feed. The alien fleet stretched across the black sky, like a burning steel wall. There were so many ships that they covered the stars behind them. They were massive, silent, and shaped like blades, gliding forward with cold blue light. Earth's defenses were already trying to identify them, but every scan returned the same strange message: unknown technology, unknown origin, unknown weapons, unknown intent. Marcus swallowed hard. No human fleet looked even close to this size. No nation had technology like this. It was like a nightmare, an impossible enemy standing at the door of humanity. Commander Ava Rios, his second-in-command, stepped beside him. Her voice was steady, but her eyes showed fear. "Sir, they're everywhere. Over Asia, Europe, both Americas. They are surrounding us." Marcus did not look away from the screen. How many ships? The analyst near them hesitated. His voice cracked when he answered. At least 5,000 capital ships, maybe 10,000 smaller ones, and more are arriving every second. A heavy silence filled the room. Everyone understood what that meant. Earth had never seen anything close to that power. Even if every human ship launched at once, they would be outnumbered 10-1. Then, the speakers in every command center, every home, every radio, and every phone suddenly came alive with a deep voice, cold, metallic, and emotionless. It spoke a language no one understood, but somehow the words were translated automatically into every human language at the same time, as if the voice was already inside their systems. People of Earth, you will surrender. You will kneel before the Dominion. This planet now belongs to us. You have 1 hour. There will be no mercy. And then the voice vanished. Families watching at home felt their hearts freeze. Mothers held their children. Lovers held hands. Neighbors looked at each other with wide, terrified eyes. A million prayers were whispered. People tried to call friends and family, but the networks were already collapsing under panic. Marcus stepped forward, breath shaking, staring directly at the silent alien fleet. For a moment, he felt real fear. Not the fear of death, but the fear of losing everything humanity had built. The fear that this might be the final hour of the human race. Commander Ava spoke softly. "Sir, what do we do?" Marcus closed his eyes for a brief second, remembering his family, their faces, their laughter, their dreams. He could not let them be erased. He could not let Earth die without a fight. He opened his eyes again, filled with fire. "We fight." Officers around him looked shocked. "But, sir, if we attack first, they will wipe us out." "They will wipe us out anyway," Marcus replied. "If we kneel, we die slaves. If we stand, we die humans. I choose to stand." Ava stared at him with respect and fear. "I will stand with you." Marcus turned to the communications officer. "Send the order to every base and every fleet. Full defense mobilization. All ships to launch immediately. We fight with everything we have." The officer nodded and began shouting commands into the radio network. Across Earth, massive hangar doors opened. Battleships lifted into orbit. Engines roared. Thousands of pilots ran to their fighters, hearts pounding. Soldiers tightened armor plates and gripped their rifles. Nuclear silos unlocked. Missile platforms rotated skyward. Humanity prepared for its greatest battle. Marcus stood before command room's giant screen, watching human ships rise from Earth like glowing sparks flying up into darkness. For Earth, he whispered. For humanity, Ava added, but then something unexpected happened. The alien fleet moved. Dozens of ships shifted into attack formation, forming a perfect sharpened spear, aimed directly at Earth. Blinding white energy built up inside their weapon arrays. Alarms blared louder. The countdown timer on the global screen began ticking. 59:00, 58:59, 58:58. Earth had less than an hour to survive. Marcus gave one last order. No retreat, no surrender. Engage the enemy. Human ships roared toward the alien wall like a burning wave. The first shot fired. A beam of blue fire tore across space, ripping a human battleship in half. Flames and debris scattered in the black void. Screams filled the radio. And at that moment, every person on Earth understood the war for humanity had begun, and no one knew how many would live to see the end. The battle began like the universe exploding. The first blast from the alien fleet still echoed in the minds of every soldier watching the screen. The destroyed battleship, the Silver Dawn, had been one of Earth's finest warships, a symbol of human pride. Now it was only a broken frame burning silently in space, pieces drifting like glittering ash. Inside the United Defense Command War Room, the air felt heavy and tight. No one spoke. No one breathed. Every officer stared at the screen in horror as more alien weapons lit up, glowing like thousands of suns ready to burn everything in their path. Admiral Marcus Hale gripped the metal railing, so hard his knuckles turned white. The entire room waited for his voice, the only voice that could hold the world together. He forced calm into his words. Status on the fleet? A communications officer answered with shaking hands. Human fleet is engaged, sir. The Titan and the Vanguard are leading the front line. Our fighter wings are moving to intercept enemy strike craft. But, sir... But what? Marcus demanded. We are losing ships too fast. We have already lost 14 capital ships, and it has only been 2 minutes. The words stabbed through the room like knives. 2 minutes. 14 ships. Thousands of lives gone. Commander Ava Rio stepped forward, trying to steady her voice. Sir, we need a strategy. If we continue a frontal assault, we will run out of ships before we reach even half of their formation. I know, Marcus said quietly, but if we fall back, we lose Earth. The screen shifted suddenly to show live footage from orbit. Human battleships fired everything they had: rail cannons, plasma torpedoes, particle beams. The sky above the planet flickered with bright explosions like a storm of stars being born and dying at the same time. But the alien ships barely moved. Their shields shimmered like glass walls. Human weapons hit them with full force and simply vanished into ripples of blue energy. It was like punching a mountain. On the other side of the battle, inside the flagship Titan, Captain Rowan Vance stood on the bridge. Sparks rained from broken panels. Smoke drifted through the air. Crew members shouted status updates. Shields at 32%. Starboard cannons offline. Medical bays overflowed. Casualties rising. Rowan wiped blood from his forehead and stared into the void. Alien fighter craft, sleek and silent, moved like shadows slicing through human formations. Every second, more pilots screamed across the radio before vanishing into static. Yet Rowan refused to back away. Forward, he shouted. Ram them if you must. The Titan surged ahead, firing every weapon it had. Massive missiles arced through space like burning stars. Some hit. A few alien ships cracked, flames bursting from inside. A small victory, but a victory. On Earth, cheers erupted in bunkers and shelters watching the broadcast. Maybe humanity could fight. Maybe they could win. But then a terrible sight appeared. The aliens began opening enormous gates, circular portals crackling with white lightning. And from those gates, even larger ships arrived. Ships the size of small moons. Their surfaces glowed with dark red lines, pulsing like veins. Their engines shook space itself. A technician whispered, horror freezing his voice. "Sir, those new ships, they are planet killers." Marcus felt a coldness spread through his bones. Planet killer weapons. Machines built to wipe entire worlds into dust. If even one fired at full power, Earth would be gone. Ava looked at Marcus, eyes wide. "Sir, what do we do?" He stared at the screen, at the numbers, the losses, the impossible scale of the enemy. And then, slowly, he said, "We strike their command. If we can break their leaders, the fleet may fall apart. But the alien command ship is behind 10 layers of defense fleets." Ava argued, "It's suicide." "It is," Marcus said, "but we have no other choice." He opened a secure channel to the Titan. "Captain Rowan, this is Admiral Hale. We are initiating Operation Spearpoint. You'll lead a focused assault through enemy lines to reach the command ship." Silence followed. Then Rowan's voice, steady and fearless. "Understood. We will open a path." Marcus felt pain in his chest, knowing what he was asking. Thousands more would die. But if they did nothing, billions would. Back on the Titan, Rowan turned to his crew. "You heard the order. This is the moment history will remember. We fight not for survival, but for every child on Earth. No retreat." The crew cheered with trembling voices. For Earth. Fighter squadrons formed around the Titan, engines blazing. They shot forward, cutting through explosions and smoke. Alien ships moved to intercept, firing storms of energy. Human fighters dodged desperately, but many fell, burning out like dying sparks. The Vanguard followed close behind, its massive hull already shredded. Captain Ishan Patel transmitted his final words. "We hold the line. Glory to humanity." The Vanguard crashed into an enemy cruiser, detonating in a blinding blast that tore open a hole in the enemy formation. The shockwave shoved ships aside like they were toys. The path was open. "Push through," Rowan ordered. The Titan and what remained of the human fleet surged forward, engines screaming under overload. Hundreds of human fighters formed a living shield, absorbing enemy fire so the flagship could advance. Every second, ships exploded. Every second, more pilots gave their lives. Earth watched. Earth prayed. Earth cried. Inside the war room, Marcus whispered, barely audible, "Hold, Rowan, just hold." But then, the alien fleet changed formation. Thousands of ships suddenly shifted and sealed the path again. The opening closed like a steel jaw. A new voice came over the speakers, deep, cold, and mocking. "Humanity, we offered mercy. You chose death." Every screen across Earth flashed the image of the alien commander, tall, armored, eyes glowing like burning embers. "Your resistance ends now." And then every alien ship powered up at once, charging their weapons for a single final strike. In that moment, Earth stood on the edge of extinction. The countdown reached 34:17, 34:16, 34:15. Half the time was gone, and humanity was running out of hope. The battle around Earth raged like a storm without end. Space was filled with broken metal, burning ships, and drifting bodies. Human fighters spun through clouds of fire and wreckage, desperately trying to protect the Titan as it pushed forward. But the alien fleet was closing in again, forming a deadly steel cage around the remaining human ships. The path to their command vessel was sealed. Human screams echoed across the radio channels. Explosions flashed like lightning. Inside the war room, Admiral Marcus Hale watched the disaster unfold with helpless eyes. His heart pounded like thunder in his chest. Every small red dot disappearing from the tactical display was a life gone, a name, a family, a sacrifice. Commander Ava Rio stepped close to him, speaking in a low, urgent voice. "Sir, if we continue like this, we will lose everything. It's only a matter of minutes now." Marcus clenched his fists. "We need options. There must be something we can do." A young intelligence officer, barely old enough to shave, ran up holding a data tablet. His voice trembled. "Admiral, we found something. A weakness." The room froze. Every officer stared at him, desperate for hope. "Speak," Marcus ordered. We intercepted a coded transmission from the alien fleet. We cracked part of it. Their ships are connected like a neural network. If we destroy their central command core, the rest of the fleet may lose coordination. Ava's eyes widened. Where's the core located? The officer tapped his tablet, projecting a glowing red marker on the display. The alien command ship sat deep inside the enemy formation, protected by a nest of heavy warships, an iron fortress. Marcus breathed slowly. That confirms our guess and our mission. Ava nodded. Operation Spear Point. But, sir, the officer warned, there's more. The message suggests they are not here to conquer. They are running from something worse. The room went silent again. Worse. Marcus echoed. What could be worse than this? Before the officer could answer, a priority channel opened. Directly from the Titan, Captain Rowan Vance appeared on screen, face smeared with soot and blood. Behind him, the bridge flickered with sparks. Crew shouted. Alarms blared. Admiral, we are being hammered. We need support now, or we will not reach the command ship. Marcus forced himself to sound steady. Rowan, listen. We found a possible weakness. Their fleet is linked. If we destroy their core, we might break them. But you will have to reach that ship at any cost. Rowan looked around at the exhausted, wounded faces around him. Then he nodded once. We will reach it, even if we are the last ship left. Before the channel closed, Marcus said quietly, Humanity believes in you. Make your mark. Meanwhile, aboard the Titan, the deck shook violently as another blast struck the hull. Rowan grabbed the railing to keep from being thrown across the bridge. Report, he shouted. Shields failing. Hull breaches on decks 12 through 15. We're losing oxygen. Reactor unstable. We're overheating. Rowan looked at his crew. People who had followed him for years, through smaller wars, through victories and losses. Now he could see it in their faces. They knew they would not survive this mission. But not a single one stepped back. He opened a ship-wide channel. This is Captain Vance. Listen to my voice. The noise quieted. Every surviving crew member listened. We fight for more than survival. We fight for every child asleep in their bed, for every dream, for every person who still believes tomorrow will come. We are humanity's shield, and today we hold the line. Crew members wiped tears and steadied themselves. For Earth, they shouted. Back on Earth. In the shelters below ground, millions watched the battle broadcast on emergency screens. Families held hands. Children cried. Strangers prayed together. In one shelter, a little boy looked up at his mother. Mom, are we going to die? The mother held him tight, voice shaking. I don't know, but those people up there, they are fighting for us. We must believe in them. The boy stared at the screen, watching the Titan fly through fire. Then I believe. The turning point. On the Titan, sensors detected heavy movement inside the alien fleet. Captain, the enemy is shifting formation. They're surrounding us on all sides. Rowan grit his teeth. Activate emergency thrusters. Push us through the gap. The engine screamed, glowing white with overload. The Titan slammed forward, scraping past flaming wreckage and enemy beams. Fighters around it exploded like fireflies hitting glass. Just then, a private transmission came through, unknown origin. A voice spoke in perfect English, calm and sorrowful. Human captain. Stop. You do not understand what you are doing. Rowan froze. Identify yourself. The hologram of the alien commander appeared, tall, armored, with burning red eyes. We did not come to conquer you, the alien said. We came running. The horror that hunts us will hunt you next. If you destroy us, you will face it alone. Rowan stared in disbelief. Then why demand our surrender? Why kill our people? The alien lowered its head. Because we were desperate. We needed your world to hide. We needed time to breathe. A wave of anger burned across Rowan's face. You slaughtered millions. You destroyed our cities. You call that desperation? The alien met his eyes. Yes, because what follows us will destroy entire galaxies. We thought you would not believe us. And we were right. Rowan hesitated, just for a second. Then Admiral Marcus's voice echoed from the command link. "Rowan, we cannot trust them. Finish the mission." The alien spoke one more time, voice trembling. "If you kill us, humanity will scream in the dark, and no one will come." Rowan closed his eyes. The future of Earth hung on a single choice: attack or trust. His voice came out like steel. "We choose to fight." The final push. Rowan lifted his head and shouted, "All power to forward batteries. Charge the core. Prepare boarding team." The Titan roared forward, breaking through enemy ranks like a falling star. Fire consumed the screen. The boarding team ran through the corridors, armor shining, weapons ready. At that same moment, Marcus whispered in the war room, "God help us all." The countdown reached. 18:02, 18:01, 18:00. Humanity was out of time, and the fate of the world now depended on a single desperate mission into the heart of the enemy. The Titan pierced through the wall of alien fire like a burning spear. Every alarm screamed at once. Sparks rained from the ceiling as the ship shook under heavy impact. The engines roared in agony, pushing far beyond safe limits. The lights flickered, then steadied again. Captain Rowan Van stood firm in the center of the bridge, gripping the railing as the deck trembled beneath him. "Status," he shouted. "Shields gone. Hull integrity failing. Weapon systems damaged." Rowan stared ahead at the massive alien command ship, dark, towering like a floating black fortress wrapped in storm clouds of energy. Its surface pulsed with deep red light, as though something alive was beating inside it. The officer at the tactical station turned toward him, voice cracking. "Captain, if we take one more direct hit, we will be destroyed." Rowan looked around his bridge. His crew was exhausted, wounded, bleeding, but their eyes still burned with purpose. They had come too far to stop now. "We hold," Rowan said quietly. "If this is our final hour, then we spend it fighting." The boarding team. Deep within the ship, the boarding team gathered in the launch bay. Commander Ayachin stood at the front, wearing heavy assault armor. Her dark eyes were steady with determination, though her hands trembled slightly at her sides. Around her, only 20 soldiers remained. 20 out of hundreds who had begun the mission. Every face was covered in sweat, dirt, and blood. They knew this was suicide, but no one backed away. Aya raised her voice. "We are the last knife in Earth's hand. If we reach that command ship, humanity lives. If we fall, Earth falls with us." The soldiers nodded. "For Earth," they whispered. The hangar doors opened with a deep rumble. The vacuum of space rushed in. In front of them floated the alien command ship, glowing with deadly red light, surrounded by thousands of enemy ships firing nonstop. Aya spoke again, quieter this time. "If any of you survive, tell my family I fought to the end." The boarding craft launched, engines blazing. It shot through space, dodging beams of white and blue fire. 2 escort fighters exploded instantly behind it. "Keep flying," Aya cried. "Do not stop." The craft slammed through the command ship's outer shield, sparks exploding around it. The hull screeched as metal tore. With a final jolt, they crashed into the alien vessel, and the doors blasted open. "Go! Go! Move!" Aya ordered. The soldiers stormed inside. Inside the alien command ship, the interior was nothing like human technology. The walls pulsed like veins. The floors shifted beneath their feet, as though they were walking inside something living. The air smelled like burning metal and cold ash. Alien soldiers appeared, tall armored figures with glowing masks and long blade-like weapons. They moved with terrifying speed, silent as shadows. "Contact!" a soldier shouted. Gunfire erupted. Laser rounds lit the corridors. The soldiers fought desperately, pushing forward step by step. Bodies fell on both sides. The sound of screams and metal clashing filled the air. Aya charged ahead, firing nonstop. 2 aliens lunged at her, blades slicing through the air. She dodged and fired point-blank, dropping them. Blood splashed across her armor, but she didn't stop. "Keep moving," she yelled. The team reached a massive sealed door, covered in glowing red markings. It pulsed like a heartbeat. This is it, Aya said breathlessly. The control core. A soldier placed explosive charges across the door, hands shaking. Behind them, more alien warriors appeared, screeching like steel ripping apart. Open fire. Aya commanded. The charges detonated. The shock wave shook the entire ship. The heavy door shattered apart, revealing a huge chamber filled with swirling red light and pulsating energy strands. At the center floated a massive crystal-like structure, the alien fleet's neural core. Energy surged through it like living fire, connecting to tens of thousands of ships. That's the brain, Aya whispered. Destroy it and we end this war. But then a voice echoed around them, deep, pained, almost pleading. Stop. You do not understand the cost. The alien commander appeared again, stepping through the smoke. His armor cracked with energy, and his eyes burned brighter than before. He lifted a clawed hand. If you destroy that core, everything will die. Not just us. Not just you. The thing that hunts us feeds on broken worlds. Destroy us, and you will call it here. Aya pointed her rifle at him. Why should we believe anything you say? Because we have already lost 7 galaxies, the alien answered. We thought we could hide behind your sun, but it has already found us. It will find you next. The soldiers stared at him in horror. That is why we wanted your world, the alien said softly, to make our last stand. Together. Aya's hand shook. Her mind raced. If he was telling the truth, destroying them would only unleash something worse. Captain Rowan, she said to the radio, voice cracking. We need guidance. What if he's telling the truth? Rowan's voice came through, quiet and heavy. We cannot take the risk. If we surrender now, Earth dies today. If this threat is real, we will face it when it comes. Aya felt tears burn in her eyes. She looked at her remaining soldiers. I'm sorry, she whispered. She raised her hand. Detonate. The charges around the core glowed bright, and then everything turned white. On the Titan, the ship lurched violently as a shock wave burst outward from the alien command vessel. Every alien ship in the fleet flickered with wild energy, then froze, stalling in place like broken machines. Rowan stared at the screen, voice barely a whisper. They did it! Around him, his crew wept, some with joy, some with grief. Earth cheered as the alien fleet died. Humanity had won, but Rowan felt no victory. Open a channel to Admiral Hale, he said. When Hale's voice came through, Rowan spoke slowly. Aya and her team, they're gone. Marcus closed his eyes, feeling half his soul collapse inside him. For Earth, Rowan whispered. For Earth, Marcus replied. But far beyond the solar system, in a region of silent darkness, something woke up, something enormous, something ancient, and it began moving toward Earth. Humanity had won the battle, but the real war was about to begin. For a moment, space was silent. The last fragments of the alien fleet drifted, like broken glass, across the darkness. Fires burned quietly in the remains of shattered ships. The Titan floated amid wreckage, engines weak, hull torn open in several places. Humanity had won, but no one celebrated. The bridge was quiet, too quiet. Not a cheer, not a smile, just exhausted soldiers staring at screens with empty eyes. Captain Rowan Vance stood at the center. His face looked carved from stone, hard, unmoving. His uniform was torn, one arm wrapped in bloody cloth. He looked like a man who had forgotten how to breathe. Any signal from Commander Aya's team? Rowan asked. Silence answered him. The communications officer swallowed hard. No, sir. Their life signs vanished with the explosion. No survivors. The word struck the room like a hammer. No one spoke. Some lowered their heads. Some closed their eyes tightly. Rowan turned away, one hand gripping the railing, knuckles white. He knew Aya better than anyone. She was brave. She was fire. She was the kind of person who never stopped fighting. But even fire can burn out. The tactical officer broke the silence. Sir, we did it. The enemy fleet is gone. Earth is safe. Rowan did not move. After a long moment, he answered quietly, safe for now. Earth celebrates. Across Earth, massive screens showed the broken alien fleet falling into darkness. Crowds filled the streets, crying, cheering, hugging strangers. Fireworks burst above cities. Bells rang. Flags waved. People danced, shouted, and held each other tightly. Humanity had survived. Humanity had fought back. Humanity had won. But no one on Earth knew the price. No one knew about Aya. No one knew what she faced in that alien ship. No one knew she died trying to save them. Admiral Marcus Hale watched the celebrations on a screen inside the Earth Defense Command Center. He felt nothing but cold. His daughter's photo sat on his desk. Aya's smile shone from the frame, bright and full of life. He touched the glass gently. "You kept your promise," he whispered, voice breaking. "But I never wanted you to." A lone tear fell down his face. Behind him, officers tried to speak, but he raised a hand. "Give me a moment," he said. They obeyed and left quietly. The admiral stood alone, drowning in silence, wishing he could trade victory for one more second with his daughter. Something moves in the darkness. Back aboard the Titan, alarm suddenly flared again. Warning, massive gravitational disturbance detected. Unknown object entering the system. The bridge crew stared at their screens, confused and afraid. "What now?" whispered the helmsman, voice shaking. Rowan looked up sharply. "Report." The sensor officer's hands trembled as he read the data. "Captain, something is approaching from deep space. I don't understand. It's not a ship. It's something alive." "Alive?" Rowan repeated. "It's bigger than anything we've ever seen. Bigger than the alien fleet. Bigger than the moon." The screen flickered and then showed a horrifying sight. A vast shape moved through the darkness, writhing, shifting, like a colossal shadow with thousands of twisting tendrils. Its body swallowed starlight. Its eyes glowed with cold white fire. Space itself bent and cracked around it. It did not fly. It consumed. Rowan felt his heart stop. "What is that?" The officer whispered a single word. "Tyrant." The enemy the aliens feared. The communications channel crackled to life unexpectedly. A broken, fading voice whispered through static. "Human, still listening?" Rowan froze. "This is Captain Rowan Vance. Identify yourself." The voice belonged to the alien commander, the one Aya had spoken to before she died. His voice sounded weak, fading. "You should have listened. We were trying to escape it. You destroyed our last shield. Now it comes for you." Rowan's blood turned cold. "What is it?" "A devourer of suns. A destroyer of life. It feeds on broken civilizations, on fear, on war." The alien coughed, energy crackling around him. "We fought it for 10,000 years. We sacrificed galaxies, but we cannot stop it. We hoped your star would hide us, but now it will kill you too." Silence. Then his final words. "Run." The signal cut out forever. Earth learns the truth. The gravitational wave reached Earth. The sky shimmered with strange colors. Buildings shook. Oceans churned. The whole planet trembled. People stopped celebrating. The screens in every city suddenly changed the view from the Titan's cameras, showing the massive creature moving toward the solar system. The cheering turned into screaming. Fear replaced joy instantly. Crowds fled. Parents grabbed their children. Sirens blared. The world fell into chaos. Admiral Hale stared at the monster on the screen, eyes wide. His voice was hollow. "Oh, God, I had tried to warn us." The Titan prepares for the impossible. Rowan stood tall again, turning toward his crew. "Send full warning to Earth. All defense stations prepare for impact. I want every surviving ship regrouped. Now." "But, Captain," the helmsman said, shaking, "we just survived a war. We have nothing left." Rowan's voice was calm, but full of burning resolve. "Then we fight with nothing. Humanity has one more stand in us." The crew looked up at him, afraid, but suddenly stronger. The sensor officer spoke again, voice tiny. "Captain, it will reach us in 10 hours. Then," Rowan said softly, "for those 10 hours, we are not afraid." He looked out the window, watching the enormous creature crawling through the darkness toward Earth. He thought of Aya. He thought of the promise he made. He thought of the future she died for. He whispered, "For you, we fight again." Outside, the stars went dark. The real war was beginning. Humanity was out of time. The Titan floated in the darkness of space like a wounded warrior. Hull plates hung loose, lights flickered, and engines coughed weakly. The crew worked without rest, their hands shaking with exhaustion and fear. Outside the window, the impossible creature, the tyrant, the eater of civilizations, crawled closer. It moved like a storm made of nightmares, its body stretching across millions of kilometers. Tendrils of black energy spread behind it like wings of smoke. Stars disappeared when it passed. Space itself twisted and cracked around its massive shape. Every second it grew larger. Inside the bridge, Captain Rowan Vance stood before the damaged windows, watching approach with cold calmness. He looked like a man carved from steel, refusing to break even though everything around him was falling apart. "How long until it reaches Earth?" Rowan asked. The sensor officer wiped tears from her eyes as she read the data. 7 hours, Captain. 7 hours until the planet burned. 7 hours until humanity ended. 7 hours to fight the impossible. Admiral Marcus Hale appeared on the screen from Earth. His face was pale, eyes red with grief. "Captain, this creature destroyed the Dominion, didn't it?" "Yes, sir," Rowan answered. "The fleet we fought was running from it." The Admiral nodded slowly, understanding the cruelty of fate. "So we were never the real enemy." "No," Rowan said. "We only helped the monster find us." A heavy silence fell. "A plan no one wants." The Admiral leaned closer to the screen. "Rowan, there's only one option left. We must use the ARC protocol." The bridge became completely still. Everyone stared at the Admiral in shock. The ARC protocol was a last resort, using every remaining ship to carry millions of children and civilians away from Earth into deep space, with no guarantee they would survive. It was not victory. It was escape. It was choosing who lived and who died. Rowan's jaw tightened. "Sir, if we run, Earth dies alone." Admiral Hale looked broken. "I know, but if we stay, every human dies. We must protect the future." Rowan looked at the monster again, watching as it swallowed a distant asteroid like dust. He understood, but something inside him refused to accept it. "No," Rowan said. "There is another way." The Admiral frowned. "What way?" "We attack it." Gasps filled the bridge. "Captain, we barely survived one battle." The tactical officer started. Rowan cut him off. "We don't need to win. We only need to delay it. If we can slow it down, even for minutes, the ARC ships can escape." The Admiral stared at him. "That is suicide. The Titan cannot survive another fight." Rowan's voice softened. "It doesn't need to survive. It only needs to buy time." The Admiral closed his eyes. He knew Rowan was right. He also knew what it meant. "You sound like Aya," he whispered. Rowan swallowed hard. "She taught me how to fight for something bigger than myself." The Admiral breathed out slowly, tears forming. "Thank you, Rowan, for giving humanity a chance." The screen cut off. The crew remained silent, staring at Rowan. "We are not fighting to win," Rowan said quietly. "We fight to make sure the children of Earth wake up tomorrow. If we run from this, humanity dies anyway. But if we stand, we become something stronger." A long silence followed. Then the first voice spoke. "For Earth." Another voice joined. "For humanity." Then, like thunder rising, every crew member shouted, "For Aya." The last charge. The Titan's engines roared alive. Repair stopped. Fear vanished. Soldiers strapped in, pilots prepared thrusters, and officers locked weapons online. The ship groaned like an old beast preparing one last leap. "Set course straight into the beast," Rowan ordered. The helmsman nodded, tears streaming. Course locked. Outside, the remnants of the human fleet, broken, burning, barely flying, turned and followed the Titan. Hundreds of damaged ships formed behind it like a wounded army returning to battle. Earth watched through global screens. Silence spread. Millions stood together. No one breathed. The monster loomed before them now, so massive that its body filled half the sky. Its mouth opened like a black hole, glowing with white burning light. Rowan stared into the endless darkness and whispered, "Aya, guide me." Aya's message. Suddenly, the comms crackled. Static filled the bridge. Then a voice, soft, broken, familiar, whispered through the speakers. "Rowan." The crew froze. Rowan's heart stopped. It was Aya. "Audio boost." Rowan shouted. Her voice grew stronger. "Rowan, if you hear this, then I am gone. But listen, I found a way to hurt the monster. It feeds on fear. It grows stronger when we run, but it is weak when life fights back together." The crew stared at the speakers, hope returning to their eyes. Use the unity pulse. Connect every ship, every heart, every mind. Show it we are one, that we don't break, that we stand. Silence. Rowan placed one hand over his chest, breathing shakily. Unity pulse. Charge it. The tactical officer's hands flew over controls. Charging. 95% to 100% ready. Rowan raised his hand. "For Aya," he said. "For humanity," the crew answered. Light against darkness. The Titan's engine screamed. The fleet behind it ignited like a storm of fire. They flew into the darkness, straight into the mouth of death. The tyrant roared, the sound shaking space itself. Tendrils lashed out, ripping ships apart. But the Titan kept going. "Unity pulse now," Rowan shouted. The Titan exploded with light, brilliant, white, burning like a newborn star. The energy spread outward, connecting ship to ship, turning the fleet into one shining constellation. The creature shrieked as its skin cracked and burned. Space shook violently. The stars turned white. The monster's body split with a scream that echoed through every mind in the system. And then, a blinding flash. Silence. Darkness. The aftermath. When the light faded, the battlefield was empty. The monster was gone. The Titan was gone. Rowan was gone. But far behind them, thousands of Ark ships glided safely into deep space. Full of children. Full of hope. Earth was battered, broken, scarred, but alive. Admiral Hale stood before the world, voice steady but full of pain. "Today we lost heroes. Today we lost family. But we did not lose humanity. Captain Rowan Vance and the brave crew of the Titan saved us all. We will remember them. We will honor them. And we will build again." He lifted Aya's photo to the sky. "For those who stood when the universe tried to break us." Across Earth, millions whisper the words. Humanity stands. And somewhere in the endless stars, a spark of light glowed quietly, like a promise. The war was over. But the legend was just beginning.